Alright guys, today I'm going to be showing you my game here. Oh, what's going on? So for the last few weeks, in addition to all my other classes that I'm taking, I've been making an asteroids game for my programming class. It's probably the most fun project I've been working on lately. So just a little background: I'm taking still taking some lower division courses at my university. I'm a software engineering student. The class I'm taking right now is basically an introduction to object-oriented programming. So this game here is kind of it's the end of our semester, so this is like the final project, and it's basically helping us implement all of the object-oriented principles that we've been learning. So first I'll start by showing you the game itself, and you'll see on the left this is the game window right here. This is a console that is running along with it that I'm using for some debugging purposes right now. So here it is. Just do some basic playthrough here. So trying to work on a couple bugs here. First of all, I want to make sure that all of these asteroids are deleted from memory. Oh boy. I'll go ahead and explain how everything works here. So basically, you can move around, you can turn, shoot. The object of the game is to destroy the asteroids. Some basic functionality that we are supposed to implement is the asteroids, when they're shot, they break into new asteroids depending on their size. So there's a large asteroid, medium asteroid, and small asteroid, as you see. So basically, yeah, just different asteroids are spawned when you destroy them. The smallest asteroid doesn't spawn any more asteroids. That's just like the last one. It's kind of like those like wooden dolls, that like the Russian dolls or whatever. You open one and there's one inside of it. Anyway, so when you crash, obviously the game is over. One thing that I need to change here is make it so that there's a little bit of a wait period. So like right now, if you crash and get to the game over screen, you can immediately restart the game. I want a little bit of a delay there, so like a couple of seconds that you have to wait. Mainly because the bullet fire button is space and the restart button is space, so if you're firing and then you crash, you'll like immediately restart the game, which could be kind of like confusing. So obviously I need to change that just to make it more polished. So I mentioned I'm trying to debug something. Something that's happening is once in a while when you die, all the asteroids that are currently in the game are removed from the game, and then the game restarts with 5 new asteroids. But once in a while, it's happened about 4 times now, you'll die, the ship will respawn, 5 new big asteroids will spawn, but then any small asteroids that were in the game at the time of your death are still there. So basically in the debugging console here, you'll see an output every time an asteroid is being deleted, and then how many are left in the game still. So what we're looking for is basically like when I die, how many asteroids are there and all that stuff. Anyway, that's the main bug I'm trying to fix. Also, I need to do some adjustments to the collision detection. So the software or the game has programmed logic in it that determines when a bullet is a certain distance away from an asteroid. If it's too close, then count that as like a hit, so that asteroid will be destroyed as well as the bullet. Sometimes though, it looks like the bullet is hitting the asteroid, but the asteroid doesn't get destroyed. So I need to do some adjustments to the values that I have in there, just so that it's a little bit more accurate. However, the current values I have in there were specified by the instructor in the course, so I don't know, I'm kind of inclined just to leave it, just because I don't really need to change it for the class. Let's see. Oh well, any more comments I have about this. So I guess let's go into the code and look at the structure I've created for it. So some of the stuff, the boilerplate that runs the game, was already implemented by the course and just provided for you. So this is using OpenGL. All the interaction with OpenGL has basically been abstracted with custom classes and functions just for simplicity. We haven't got into the graphics part of this. Like I said, it's a class about object-oriented programming. What we were responsible for is implementing a game loop, so the logic that runs the game creates it and handles all the collision and all that. So that's contained within this game class that I have, game.h, and then its implementation game.cpp. And then we had to implement a flying object class, so that would basically be the parent class of any object that is considered a flying object. So in the case of this game, that would be the ship and the asteroids and the bullets. And then there are 3 types of asteroids. First we had to implement a rock class, which is like asteroid, that kind of just has all of the attributes that are shared between the rocks. So basically they're going to have a position in the game window, like coordinates, and a velocity, a flag that lets it know whether it's alive or dead, and that sort of thing. But some unique things that each one will have is each one will be drawn differently on the screen. They'll have a different size, and some other things. So basically there's a rock parent class and then 3 child classes for the rocks. So you'll see that here. I put them all in the same class file just because they're pretty small classes. So here we have our rock class, which is the base class for all the rocks. So what do we have here? So basically it's a pretty small class because a lot of the other attributes are contained within the flying object. So we'll start here. Flying object has a lot. So let's start here. So these are the attributes of it. So it has a position, so an x and y coordinate, so that we know where it is on the screen, where to draw it, and for collision detection. Velocity, so this is, the speed and direction of the ship. Whether or not it's alive, that's important for some parts of the game logic. Angle, so basically, like, if you noticed, I'll show you here. The rocks are rotating, so that's what the angle is for. Then we have change in angle, so every frame, the angle of something can change. So the rocks, they have a fixed change in angle, so they have a fixed rotation. But the ship, the change in angle is determined by the user input, basically. And then a radius, just so that we have the size of the rock. And then all these methods or functions for the rock, for the flying object, work on the data. So we can get the position that's used for the game logic. We can get the velocity. We can find out if it's live. We can grab the radius or the angle, and then we can also set all those attributes here. So these attributes are not directly accessible. So, for example, in another part of the program, can't just say set the flying object's velocity to this, because the person who's programming that may not necessarily know all the constraints that we have. For example, for the angle, we don't want the angle to be above 360 because that's